Hi everyone, the following is a video introduction and tutorial for activity 4, the number/letter maze in VEXcode VR. For this challenge, you're going to be working on the wall maze playground, not to be confused with the dynamic wall maze. We talked about the fact that the dynamic one changes. That'll actually be at the very end of this unit that we attempt that map. So make sure you're on the wall maze that does not change every time you reload it. And there are 3 levels for this activity. Level 1 is to program your VR robot to move through the maze from this start icon here. Kind of looks like a little Christmas tree. And then you're going to navigate through the maze to get through the black and red checkered flag, which would be your finish line. When you reach the finish, I'd like for you to wait for 2 seconds and then have some fun and program a little robot celebration dance for yourself. There is actually the ability to exit the map and go right out the top of there. Same thing at the bottom here, but for this, just looking to have a little celebration once you've actually made it all the way to the end of the map. For level 2, what we're going to do is you're still going to navigate from start to finish, but you're also going to add in all the numbers that you see there in order. So from the start block here, you'll navigate over to number 1, and then to number 2, to 3, to 4, and then on your way to the finish line. Again, have your robot do a little celebration dance when you get the end there to celebrate your accomplishment. And for level 3, kind of the same thing, but we're using the letters now. So you're going to start on the start tile, go to letter A, B, C, and D in that order, and then on your way out to the exit. And of course, celebration dance at the end to bring it all home. So there are a couple of things that can be helpful when working on this particular challenge. And if you scroll down to the second page here, you'll see those in the helpful hints section. Using the random number operator can be a cool way to come up with some different dance moves without you really having to put too much effort into that. So I'll show you an example of what that looks like here once I get over to my VEXcode VR tab. The wait block, very simple. We're just going to be using that to separate out portions of the code. And that way we can really see that when you've landed on a target, you were there for a certain amount of time, and then you can move on to the next objective. And then one thing that I found very helpful in this activity was creating my blocks or custom blocks to help you save a little bit of space and time. So again, I'll show you some examples of that here once I move over to VEXcode VR. So that is the activity. And on my first tab here, I have my example for level 1. And you can see I took a very linear approach to this: drive, turn, drive, turn, drive, and turn. And at the very end, you'll see I just have a little wait command for 2 seconds and then put a comment block in there because the forever loop that is below there is the celebration dance. And so I put turn right for pick random, and it's in degrees because I'm using the turn block. But so for pick random, you can set it to anything you want. I just left it at 1 to 90. So when it first hits that block, it's going to pick a random number and turn to that degree. And then it'll go on to turn left, moving in the opposite direction for a certain random degree, and just keep doing that until I end the program. All right, so we can take a look at what that looks like here. If I select playground and load this one up, I'm on the wall maze in the bottom row now. And we'll get this thing to load. Okay, so starting out, just navigating from start block to the finish block. That took me roughly 13 seconds to get from start to the finish, and then this would be my little random celebration dance. And so it's just going to continue to do that until I actually stop the project here. So that's kind of fun. And then if I switch over to tab 2, this was my much cleaner example of what I would put together for an activity like this using my blocks. So you can see my when started stream here is just these few items with some wait commands in between, and my set drive velocity and set turn velocity blocks. Everything else is now going to be referenced out to these other streams of code that you see. So define number 1, that's my directions to get to number 1. Define number 2, how to get from number 1 to number 2, and so on, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, and then from 4 all the way to the end. So just kind of parsed it out using my blocks, and then I have a much cleaner finished, main program, if you will. So I can play this one for us. Off we go on our way to block 1 first. Wait 2 seconds. Make my way over to block 2. And then from there, after waiting 2 seconds, to block 3. And then from there to 4, and then out to the finish. So as you're working on your programs, think about ways to try to make this as streamlined as possible and to save time as you're navigating this map. Not everything requires a full turn. Think about moving in reverse or something like that. So I got to the end block there at 30 seconds. I should have had my celebration dance in there, but I don't have it on this current example. For level 3, kind of went back to more of a linear approach to this one, and of course have my wait commands in there as well, and the little celebration dance at the bottom here. For this one, just messing around with some of the numbers, did a pick random for 1 to 360 instead. That way it's turning any degree to the right. And let me go ahead and load this program. And off we go. For start block to letter A to letter B. You can see with this one, I'm doing a little bit more of that no turn going in reverse thing. It does save you an extra fraction of a second by not having to turn first. And going from letter B to letter C. I encourage you all to challenge yourselves to see who can do it in the shortest amount of time. And you can post your best times on the whiteboard there and keep each other challenged as you're working through this activity. So letter D, and then on my way to the finish line for a robot celebration dance. There we have it. So that, everyone, is, again, activity 4, the number/letter maze. And hopefully you have a good time working on this playground, and looking forward to seeing what you can put together for this challenge. Thanks for watching.